Hello guys, today we're going to be looking at the Asiana 214 air crash, and this goes back quite a few years already now, back to 2013. But at the time when I seen this video shown on CNN and other sites, I just knew that something was not right about this. So this is just a short investigation of what happened, what I think really truly happened, and the reason why this accident was overplayed. Now, I will admit this accident happened. It did cause damage, okay, a few deaths, and a lot of people injured. We're not going to deny that fact. But what we're going to go over is the fact why this accident was pushed harder than it should have been. The first thing we're going to do is, before we look at the videos, we're going to show the actual accident pictures. Okay, so we're going to start with the cabin and some of the other pictures that were shown. Nothing graphic, okay? Now here we go. Now this is the front of the airplane, as you can see here. Clearly, here's the front on an imposed picture here on the side. And you can see here that you can even read UNICEF, we support UNICEF. So you can see that the pilot tubes are still here. Okay? Pay attention to this picture. It's going to be very important that you really, really pay attention to this. Okay? And we'll go back to it after and why it's important. We're going to close this down. And we're going to look here further. Here's another picture, the same picture. This one's a bit further away, so you can see it's the same airplane taken out of the crash site. And here is the top area of the crash site. And you can see here that the airplane did skid here. No problems with that. Nobody's denying that. Well, most of these tracks here are from the fire trucks and the service trucks. They're not from the airplane. Okay? There's nothing around here except this area. Another important picture to remember, and this is probably my favorite one. This guy had time to stop, take a picture of the accident before he got out of there. These people are on their cell phone, a few of them on their cell phone. Some of them got their luggage here. These dudes are still looking back. Very, very, really weird how these people just have no care for danger. And the guy's taking pictures of that. Okay, now that you've seen the pictures, we're going to go through the Ntsb Animation first because we need to get this out of the way and go right to the horse's mouth. Okay, now this is the glide path approach to the San Francisco airport. Okay, and we're not going to watch the whole entire video. We're going to show you just what they think happened because that's their investigation. So we're going to go forward, and here's the approach. The approach was too low, and they crashed. Okay, here we go. And pay attention to the animation that these guys are showing because it's going to be a similar animation on another site as well. So we're going to keep watching the video. And the pilots here, of course, they figured out they're too low, so they're trying to fix the problem. They're trying to go around, but they never did, so they crashed. Okay, and here's the animation continuing. Stick shaker came on, they're too close, and they crashed. Okay? So that is exactly what happened. Now, from this video, the Ntsb added this portion after of the crash. This airplane is scraping itself against the ground. It's spinning around. Its whole front is now scraped to pieces. Okay? Even if the fuselage at the front was intact, please explain to me how on earth this airplane did that looking like this. What, the cat got your tongue now? Exactly. This airplane did not crash the way that they're showing there because that video was not part of the Ntsb investigation. It was added after. It was from another remote site location, from another camera. That is not the camera that the Ntsb made part of the investigation. They just added it so that we can see what it did after. So, let's kill that there. And let's look at the walk-around video. This is the walk-around video that they've shown. This is from the Ntsb. And here it is again. Here's the airplane. There's clearly a fire. No one's denying that. Clearly a crash. No one's denying that. This airplane is intact. There's not one single mother effing scratch on this fuselage, people. Not one scratch on this thing. This area here in the front, let's go back to it again, is the area that scraped the entire ground. From here to here. You clearly see in the crash video, that is what it did. So we're going to freeze it here. We're going to go a bit forward. This is the damage in the inside. No one's denying that this airplane crashed, okay? No one's doing that. But no one would believe that it happened the way you're being told. Let's look at another investigation here, okay? So let's look at the Telegraph video. Now this is a great one because this actually shows you, it goes beyond the crash, and it goes into how it actually ended up on the grass. Now here we go. That's the top airplane, of course, is where they should have been, and the lower one is where they were. So there was no doubt about it. They crashed the airplane on landing, okay? And over here, they tried to go around, couldn't make it, okay, scraped it, broke off the tail. And of course, the airplane came in, and watch what the airplane is doing. The airplane is being scratched by not just where it came to landing to, but also the tarmac. Let's go back again and read this animation. This is from the Telegraph. This is not mine. Let's watch it again. And this airplane is completely being scratched from underneath. The nose is being scratched right here in the fuselage. It's being scratched everywhere. Ask yourself again, does that match this? Of course it doesn't. No retard in the world would accept that. Nobody who's a dumbass moron would believe this nonsense. So if you look at this now, please explain to me how that matches this. Nowhere in this sane world would that match that. There's not a single scratch on this airplane. Look at the fuselage. Okay, so let's close that. And of course, we're going to look at this one here. Here, I love this one because this is the CNN one. Of course, my favorite guys here. So here's the airplane again. And for the people who don't believe me, this is what, at the top, Ntsb is using as what happened. The airplane is being scratched against the ground tarmac. Look at what the airplane is doing. Is this what the airplane looks like after? Look at the front of the fuselage here. That does not match anything to that video. Okay, let's close this up. Now, me being kind of curious, let's look at the wiki page for airlines Flight 214 from Asiana. Okay, now you see the airplane here, and here's the picture. The same one I just showed you, no scratches. Okay? On the morning of July 6, 2013, so we know what happened already. Okay, there's no need to look at that again. But why was it sold the way it was? Why did they oversell this accident? In the end, everything gets back to money. It doesn't matter who it is, who started it, how they started it. It's always tied to money. It says here, San Francisco, to borrow, in the airport, to borrow $4 billion for upgrades. Now, they would have to borrow and have credible information to borrow that money. They needed it for a reason. So they needed some reasons. Okay? Let's look at the date where they actually started to ask for this money, where they announced it. It says May 20, 2013. And it says the post here is updated August 12. So this is before the crash. Okay? So, $4 billion, 10-year building and renovation plan, and that includes a proposed 400-room hotel. Okay? Now let's go back here, down here. Voters won't have to approve the debt, which comes in the forms of bonds. It's to be repaid from the airport's revenues that include the charges paid to the facility by airlines and rental car companies. In addition to spending money to spruce up boarding areas and terminals, the city and airport officials also want to build $130 million 400-room hotel on a slice of land between Highway 101 and South McDonald Road. The hotel would belong to the airport, but a hired company would run the 4-star lodging. Now here's the breakdown of the money. Oh man, this buys a lot of Ferraris and $1 million houses at the edge of the beach. $4.1 billion in spending. San Francisco National Airport's leaders announced Monday $4.1 billion in construction spending. Here are some of the projects. You can see them for yourself. There's no need for me to go over them. Okay? So, how did they get this money faster? On the morning of July 6th, their answer came with this crash. That's what this was. This was a simple crash that injured people, and some people died. We know that. However, this crash did not happen like you were shown. Okay? Stop thinking that. What you've seen in the video was not what happened to this airplane. Please pay attention to the front of this airplane. Did this airplane scratch any tarmac or any ground? You know what the material of this airplane is made of. It's not titanium, for God's sake. Okay? This is not titanium. So, of course, it'll be scratched to hell. There'll be chunks missing off this area here in the front. Okay? After the landing gear collapsed, this will be all scratched. Period in the story. The pilot tubes are still intact. Must be some strong pilot tubes there. Okay? So let's go back again to the top of the crash. And again, a crash and a fire. Now, the way that they sold this as a huge event on television. CNN had it, all the news stations had it. But in the end, okay, it doesn't matter what you do or what you say. It did not happen like you were told. And here's another video. This is the last video I'll show you. And we're not going to show you the whole entire video. There's no need. You've already seen it. Here's the CNN exclusive. And, of course, CNN's going to show this. This is from a guy across the other side of the airport, across the water. And there is the accident. And here's the airplane crashing itself on the ground. Pay attention to this airplane right here. Where did this airplane scratch the ground? It collapsed. The landing gear collapsed. That's what it did. This airplane must be made of super high-end titanium to not have one single scratch on the fuselage. Okay? Now let's go back and look at that picture. Always my favorite. Anybody who looks at this laughs at this video. You have to laugh at it. Okay? It's unfortunate what happened. We know there was an accident, and there's many other accidents in airplane crashes. But it wasn't pushed to the media like this one. Because again, why? Because Mr. San Francisco Airport needed $4 billion rushed to start building. So that's what this whole thing was about. Money, in the end, everything is always about money. If a crash happens and if you can sell it bigger than what it is to get money fast into the airport, so be it. The airport doesn't give a damn. Officials don't care. As long as the money comes from the taxpayers, nobody gives a damn. So look at this again. Take a look at the crash video and take a look at the fuselage. Like I said before, this is not military titanium they're running here on the skin, okay? This is just, please understand that. So this skin is very thin. So if you run a knife through it, you'll scratch it easily. Imagine this thing crashing and scraping the tarmac and then the ground. This whole area would have been scraped. There would be nothing left of it. Be chunks missing off it. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you appreciate it. And again, I'm not saying that it didn't happen, that the accident did not happen. It did happen, okay? You can clearly see it happened. Just not the way that we're sold, okay? They like to sell things in order to get something out of it. They wouldn't do this unless they were getting something out of it. And in the end, follow the money, and you'll get your answer. Thanks for watching, and take care.